This ring, it's the greatest weapon in the universe.
When and if to use it, that's the whole ball game, Junior.
Did you just use that ring to counterfeit money?
No.
Tell me how you got it. The ring.
You know how I got it. I sure as hell didn't interview for it.
Oh, well, shit, maybe you should have. Power like that, shouldn't you have to work for it?
I've been doing this since you were a baby. And the only way you're gonna get this ring is over my dead fucking body.
I think he likes me.
Everybody is lying to us.
We're not leaving here till we find out what they're hiding.
Danger's part of the job. You need to be fearless.
How are you chosen for this?
It's only one question. Are you afraid? You afraid?
Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid?
I was raised fearless, and I'll do this better than he's ever done it before.
Then go and get it, John Stewart.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. DC and James Gunn released a new Lanterns trailer. It is full of green. Very clearly, there were a lot of notes behind the scenes about how much green was in the last trailer and how much space-based stuff was in the last trailer, how much cosmic stuff. James Gunn asking HBO how much green they should put in the new trailer, and HBO just saying, yes, all of the green. Even the main DC social account got in on all the green jokes. Hey, look, there's green in this trailer, all over this trailer. This honestly feels like it should have been the first trailer, like it's much stronger than that last trailer, but the way they explained it, they were afraid of scaring off the casual audiences who might not tune in if they felt like it was too comic booky of a show. That did not go that well for them, and then they had all the music copyright issues and they had to take their previous teaser trailer down, so there was just a lot of different reasons for them to release a stronger trailer that was just completely different from the last one. So congratulations, they got all your notes, there's green everywhere, and there's a lot of cosmic stuff going on. As you see and you hear several times during the trailer, several different characters ask the question, are you afraid? It is a reference to the whole basis of the Green Lantern Corps when Hal says that this is the ultimate power in the universe, the Green Lantern ring, the Green Lantern battery, it's powered by your willpower, but they are weak to the Yellow Lantern spectrum, which is fear. Meaning that is the one or one of the things that could bring them down, the ultimate power in the universe idea. The only other real limitation on the power of a Green Lantern is their imagination and really ultimately the willpower. One of the big ideas they said they would tease during the series is the difference in Hal Jordan's Green Lantern constructs versus John Stewart's based on the different ways that they think.
When and if to use it, that's the whole ball game, Junior.
We see a couple different examples of Hal Jordan's constructs throughout the trailer, the funniest one being the dollar bill that he creates to start the jukebox. Like, wait a minute, did you just create a dollar bill that was fake using Green Lantern energy? That is based on the comics, and it's just the idea that he's been a Green Lantern for so long that he can make a construct that is that detailed, that it can fool an electronic machine. Meant to be funny, yes, but also meant to show you how fine a level of control Hal Jordan has over the Green Lantern energy. Been doing this for a little while, gonna teach you how to use these. I know there's going to be a ton of questions, though, about why they're teasing the idea that only one person can wear this ring and John Stewart doesn't have his own completely separate Green Lantern ring like he does in the comics. Probably some of the other biggest things that we see in this trailer for the first time are some Sinestro. I believe this is meant to be Ulrich Thompson's version of Sinestro in the prison on this other planet that Hal Jordan goes to talk to when he's wearing his Green Lantern costume, and this is set in the past. Not totally clear which year this is taking place, but there's a number of time jumps that we see across the timeline in the trailer with like a younger version of Hal Jordan in a much younger version of John Stewart, then John Stewart before he met Hal Jordan when he's in the military, and then later after they've started working together and Hal Jordan has begun training him. also denoted by the appearance of Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner Green Lantern in his Lord Tech Green Lantern costume. They've already said the two main timelines during the series are going to be 2016 and 2026. They've been kind of cagey about what happens during 2026. I'm assuming that that bumps up against the events of Man of Tomorrow, the Superman 2 movie with Brainiac and all the other characters. But it is possible that a lot of the murder mystery stuff that we see going on in this town in the Midwest where they come to investigate and he's training John Stewart might be happening in 2016, so that might be a prequel to the events of the first Superman movie. There's just been a lot of questions about the timeline of all the different Green Lanterns on Earth, the three that we've seen so far, the human Green Lanterns. Based on all these scenes of a younger John Stewart watching young Hal Jordan on TV being interviewed about the Green Lantern Corps in his role around Earth, it seems pretty clear that he got his Green Lantern ring a long time before Guy Gardner got his Lantern ring, but it's not clear when Guy Gardner got his Lantern ring in comparison to John Stewart, because in the comics, John Stewart was a Green Lantern before Guy Gardner was. Guy Gardner was the third Green Lantern on Earth. Hopefully they'll clarify some of this while they're doing interviews for the series before it starts airing this summer. And probably one of the other biggest new characters that we see during this is Laura Linney playing a quote-unquote mystery character. They haven't officially revealed her, but it sounds like she might be an older version of Carol Ferris based on Hal Jordan's age during the series. Hal Jordan is supposed to be in his 50s, so it makes sense that Carol Ferris is also in her 50s.
Then go and get it, John Stewart.
But just starting at the beginning of the trailer footage, they're in the bar in that small town, sort of getting the lay of the land, getting to know people, and he's in the middle of training him, like John Stewart is still learning about the ring, and he's been reluctantly asked to train him by the Oans, the Green Lantern Corps. Based on some of the flashbacks that we see later in the trailer to John Stewart in the war with his gun, it makes it seem like we actually see the event that causes him to run into the Green Lantern Corps in general. They then cut this with footage of them in the town with an alien attack. This is the same town that seen from the previous trailer. You just see why there's all this damage in the street. Something blasts them from outer space, it seems like, and he protects the people with his Green Lantern construct. There are a lot of people that saw this in the teaser yesterday and saw the red and thought this might mean Red Lantern Corps. I don't think that's what's happening. I think it's just meant to be regular lasers from a weapon from outer space. When it comes to the rest of the emotional spectrum beyond yellow and fear, I think they want to work up to that, and maybe in success they will do a War of Light eventually in the Sinestro Corps War, but that seems like a long way off. HBO has already said that they plan for this to run multiple seasons, like it's designed to be a multi-season show. They also revealed that John Stewart is supposed to show up in Superman 2 Man of Tomorrow, so like John Stewart will weave in and out of the movies and this TV show. Probably because John Stewart is going to be the Green Lantern on the Justice League when it eventually forms. They have that funny moment of Hal Jordan trying to tell John Stewart about the idea of restraint, like he's not walking around in his Green Lantern uniform because he's trying to keep a low profile, but then he has the funny moment, like using the ring in the appropriate moments, using the dollar bill inside the jukebox. Like, yes, totally appropriate moment. You can let me know what song you think he used that dollar bill to cue up on the jukebox. John Stewart asked Hal Jordan to tell him his origin story, basically. How did you get the Green Lantern ring? That's Abin Sur. I believe that's going to be accurate to the comic book origin. When he says, you know how I got the ring, I think that's meant to be a reference to all the interviews that you see him doing in the past when John Stewart was younger, watching him on TV, where he explained how he got the Green Lantern ring. You also notice in these flashback scenes where they're watching the interview clips of young Hal Jordan on TV in the past, his costume has way more green in it than the one that you see hanging up in the closet. Basically, the idea is that it is a physical costume and it is just faded over time because he's been through so many battles, so the color has faded out. When he says, I sure as hell didn't interview for it, Abin Sur basically gave him the ring and said, the ring chooses you. The ring chose him as it's meant to choose John Stewart as well. You don't choose the ring chooses you. That's the whole idea. Then there's another scene of him inside this town investigating the murder. He's going around questioning all these people, and they open fire on him in this other bar. He uses the Green Lantern construct to protect himself. Then there's that scene of John Stewart questioning Hal Jordan's ability to have the, like, shouldn't you have interviewed for it? All that responsibility, all that power. And the idea during the series that they'll explain is that there is no rules about being a Green Lantern. All it takes is will. This is also meant to be a sly reference to the whole idea why Guy Gardner is a Green Lantern if he's such a dirtbag and a dick. You do not have to be a nice person in order to be a Green Lantern. You just need a lot of will, and Guy Gardner has a lot of will.
Make a move, Big Blue.
We get the scene of young John Stewart watching an interview with young Hal Jordan on TV talking about being part of the Green Lantern Corps, but it's not clear how far long ago this was in the timeline. Like, is this Hal Jordan in his 20s right after he became a Green Lantern, or is he in his 30s? My assumption based on John Stewart's age here is that it's Hal Jordan in his 30s. When he says the only way you're going to get this ring is over my dead body, the idea is Abin Sur died and gave his ring to Hal Jordan, and now they want to tease on the series that Hal Jordan might die and give his ring to John Stewart. Maybe there'll be a twist there, but the thing about this is that Kyle Chandler didn't sign a contract for the DC movies. It's just for this TV series. Aaron Pierre signed a contract for both the TV series and the movies, which is why we know he's going to continue into the movies to the Justice League eventually someday. But it does make you wonder if they're going to use Kyle Chandler, because this is HBO, as the Ned Stark of this series, and they'll kill him off in order for John Stewart to fully come into his Green Lantern ring. Maybe this is just a misdirect, though, and they're trying to mislead you, because in the comics, John Stewart has a completely different Green Lantern ring that does not come from Hal Jordan. We see Hal Jordan fly in front of Sheriff Carey's car as they get ready to go talk to Garrett Dillahunt's William Macomb character with the M on his sign here. He's meant to be a modern cowboy who hides his self-righteous, conspiracy-minded personality behind a charming facade, and I think the idea is that his family is very wealthy, and he might be tied up in the alien subplot that's happening in the season, because Hal Jordan is convinced that there's some alien activity in this town. We also see a couple points in the trailer where you see some of the thugs hold up John Stewart with an alien tech-looking weapon. So one of the big mysteries of the season is which alien organization is active on Earth here. Is it Intergang, or is it going to be something else? You guys can let me know what your theories are in the comics, just based on the footage we've seen so far. There are a number of evil intergalactic organizations out there. Intergang just happens to be one of the bigger ones. One of the other connections in the series here, too, is that Sheriff Carey is married to Billy Macon, the son of Garrett Dillahunt's character. When we get that line from Hal Jordan, danger is part of the job, you see this alien attack in the aftermath here. This is that giant blast that Hal Jordan stops, but you also see John Stewart walking through the street with his lantern battery. This is Hal Jordan's lantern battery they used to charge up the ring. But it looks like he's wearing a prison jumpsuit, like he might have been arrested at some point during the series. You also notice that he's not wearing any shoes either while he's walking through the middle of town. So this is when he actually uses Hal Jordan's lantern ring. I think that's the idea, is all these people try to open fire on him, and he uses the lantern ring to protect himself and stop them. Then we get another flashback scene to a different time period a little while ago, but not that long ago, and it seems like Hal Jordan flying to Oa, and it's actually Sinestro in one of their prison cells. We get another flashback scene of John Stewart when he was still in the military, getting ready to parachute out of a plane. We get a little bit of him training in the Marine Corps. Then there's a scene of Guy Gardner tapping his ring on the bars here. It's not clear who he's talking to, but this might be John Stewart, and it might be before the scene of him using the lantern battery in the ring in the middle of the street. Not totally clear what's happening in this scene, but Sheriff Carey looks really worried, and she is with John Stewart, like something bad is in the middle of happening right here unfolding. We get a scene of what looks like John Stewart and Hal Jordan on an alien planet walking through this desert area here. Not totally clear what planet they're on, if they're on Oa or some other alien planet. One of the easy ways to tell that it's John Stewart is because Aaron Pierre is so massive standing next to all the other characters. You can always pick him out even if you can't see his face. We get another flashback scene to a young Hal Jordan at his father's funeral. So that's his mother sitting on the left side here. They're burying his father. But if you listen to the voiceover of the person screaming, "Are you afraid?" over that scene of them burying Hal Jordan's father, that's actually Sinestro yelling at Hal Jordan when he was trained to become a Green Lantern. Sinestro was the person who trained him to become a Green Lantern. They actually became very close before Sinestro quit the Green Lantern Corps and then eventually became a Yellow Lantern. Whoever this evil alien organization is in this town, they start to interrogate John Stewart and threaten to kill him. Not totally clear what's happening with this chase scene on the highway but this person is chasing John Stewart and he's just huffing it down the highway, jumping over these cars that are crashing. Then the scene of John Stewart training with his rifle here, I think is him seeing the Green Lantern Corps for the first time, and this is an encounter with Hal Jordan maybe. Not totally clear what's happening here, but you see the distance, the house blowing up, and you see the Green Lantern construct protecting somebody there. My assumption, if they're not misleading us with this shot, that would be Hal Jordan in that house, him making the Green Lantern construct there. Then they end the trailer with that scene of Jon Stewart explain to Laura Linney's character why he is fearless and why he will be a better Green Lantern than Hal Jordan ever was. And she's basically saying, just go out there and get it. That's why I think that this might be the older version of Carol Ferris. And she has had her very complicated relationship with Hal Jordan over their lifetime, the way they had in the comics. But if she is playing older Carol Ferris, I don't think this is like a Star Sapphire version of Carol Ferris, and they're not doing that. She seems relatively regular during this trailer. And they end with the shot of Jon Stewart wearing Hal Jordan's ring, about to power it up and use it. Not totally clear what's happening in this scene, though, when he's about to use the ring. And even though the other big lanterns that we see in the trailer are just Guy Gardner and Sinestro, they did say they would reference a lot of other members of the Green Lantern Corps during the series. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if you spotted any Easter eggs or references to the comics in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. What'll happen as we get closer to the series coming out, they'll start releasing more footage of the other characters that we haven't seen in the previous trailers. Like, we'll see more Sinestro, more of the cosmic stuff that's going on, and more of the mystery that they're teasing inside this town. Whatever they wind up releasing, of course I will do all the videos for it. Everybody click here for all my other Lanterns trailer videos, and click here for my brand new Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.